Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leaders Beyond the Stage, a podcast. I'm the host of this podcast. Today, I'm very excited to introduce a very special guest, Robin Lee, award-winning documentary filmmaker whose recent film, The Four Trails, focused on the extreme sports of ultra-long distance running in Hong Kong. In this film, Robin tells stories of endurance, mental toughness, and resilience of these runners to highlight the essence of leadership through overcoming adversity. So welcome to our podcast, Robin.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe you'd like to quickly self-introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm a documentary filmmaker. Now I'm best known for Four Trails, which came out last year, has been playing in Hong Kong, starting to go overseas now, which is fantastic. So I'm primarily a documentary filmmaker, although I've been making short films, commercials, anything sort of in the video space for over 10 years now. So, yeah, maybe that's a little background.
I see. You're also from Hong Kong. You're born in Hong Kong, right?
I was born and raised in Hong Kong,
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also studied in the same universities.
We did, yeah. Same name and same university.
Yes. One coincidence. Actually, the first time I sort of noticed Robin was when I was in the Cathay Pacific flight. And then I saw the interview, the podcast. Now, very intrigued about the film and particularly the stories that you gave. Maybe you can give us what get you involved into filmmaking.
So I was always really into sport, especially action sports. So I loved skiing when I was growing up. And I sort of fell into filmmaking around 18 to 21 years old because I was watching these ski movies which came out every single year. They filmed throughout the ski season and then they dropped a movie. And then they filmed the next ski season and dropped another movie. There were maybe 3 to 5 production companies who made these films. And I would watch them religiously. All of them, I would put them on repeat, annoy my housemates at university by constantly playing them. But this sort of ski culture, the adventure world, if you were into it, you would go out and film yourself. You would go with your friends, your family, and film yourself. And so when I was younger, I wanted to be a pro skier and be in the movies that I was watching. So whenever we went on a ski trip, my first camera was a GoPro. And I just filmed myself trying to jump off cliffs, hitting rails in the park.
Right.
And my brothers would film me, I would film them. And then I'd make a little edit and put it online. I sort of fell in love with filmmaking because of action sports and what I love to do. And that sort of just slowly evolved. So I really enjoyed doing that, put the videos online. And then I was like, well, the GoPro is not good enough. Can I get a better camera? So I got a camera where you could change the lens. So you could have a zoom lens or a wide angle lens. And in Hong Kong, I filmed me and my friends cliff jumping. We went to Sai Kung and jumped off cliffs. We went to the reservoir in Tai Tam, which you're not supposed to do, but we jumped off those
into
dams.
the water, I guess.
Into the water, yeah. Doing backflips and front flips. And I would just make little edits and put them online.
I see.
So that's sort of how I fell into filmmaking. And it was just a hobby at the time. I didn't study film. I didn't do anything like that, but I just taught myself how to use a camera. I taught myself how to edit. And slowly, some people would see the work that I just put online and would be like, hey, do you want to come and film my gym? Or there's a rugby tournament going on. Do you want to film the rugby tournament? And from there, it just kind of grew and grew and grew.
I see. You actually played rugby as well, right, Robin, as far as I know. You were what, Hong Kong team?
I played, I think I can't even remember now, but I played for the Hong Kong team until either 14 or 16 years old. I think 16 because that's when I moved to the UK. So I was in Hong Kong until I was 16, born and raised here, went to school, played for the national under-16 side, and then moved to the UK to finish up school and university.
So you're always a sportsman, right? How did you get into the inspiration of the film? Were you a runner at the time?
So I was not a runner at the time at all. Actually, long distance was probably my weakest sport. I would say that I didn't enjoy it at all. But I love the extreme nature of ultramarathon running. It was a completely different sport in a way where, maybe the stuff I was looking at before would be a marathon where they do it in a day, a few hours. The best are doing it in 2 hours now. But ultramarathon running, especially when you get to distances like 100 kilometers, 160 kilometers, even 100 miles, they're out there for multiple days. And it's not just a physical challenge. It also becomes a mental challenge as well. And so I just became fascinated with that. My older brother was a trail runner, so I supported him when he did 100 miles before.
Right.
So I would see him go through the whole process, and I sort of enjoyed that extreme nature of this kind of running versus maybe more traditional road running.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even 100 kilometers, what they call the trail runner or...
Yeah, in Hong Kong, there's
yeah,
a few. Actually,
few.
during the winter season, there's like
Yes.
2 or 3 races every single
I see,
weekend.
yeah.
But we have the Oxfam Trail Walker
Yeah.
and the Hong Kong 100, which are
Yes.
both the 100-kilometer races in Hong Kong, which attract a lot of international runners.
So it sounds insane already for me,
Yeah.
100 kilometers. But yours is what? Close to 300
Close to
kilometers?
300, 298 kilometers is the official distance. Yeah.
Right. Maybe you can tell me a little bit background about this competition. It's not really a competition, right? But it's really people who survive this and, able to just complete it is already
Exactly.
achievement.
Yeah, I mean, so I had filmed some races before, like the ones I mentioned, Hong Kong 100 and Trail Walker. But what made this event so special was it wasn't really a race. It was purely a challenge. There were only 15 to 25 people that would do it at most. And there were no awards, there were no medals. It wasn't official sign up. And it sort of started because one Chinese New Year, there was a runner called Andre Bloomberg. And essentially he was just bored. And he was, doing a lot of trail races when he was younger. And he was just like, okay, I got 4 days over Chinese New Year where I'm not doing anything. What can I do to challenge myself? And he's like, well, there are 4 major hiking trails in Hong Kong, the Macclehurst Trail, Wilson Trail, Hong Kong Trail, and Lantau Trail. Why don't I just try and run one of these a day? So he went out by himself and did the Macclehurst one day, and over 4 days did all 4, and he finished it and he said, it's quite easy. That wasn't hard enough. And before, people were telling him, this is impossible, you can't do that.
Right.
So then the next Chinese New Year, he went out and he's like, well, I'm going to try and do it in 3 days this time. And so he did all 4 trails in 3 days. And again, he finished it and was like, that wasn't as hard as I thought. And people started watching him doing it. People started joining him doing it. And so it sort of became an unofficial challenge in Hong Kong that every Chinese New Year, people would go and see if they could do it. And eventually it got down to the format, which is the movie format, where the challenge is they're trying to do all 4 trails in under 72 hours. And then if you do that, you're called a survivor. And if you do it under 60 hours, you're called a finisher. And so that's the background of the event, but it's not official. Yeah, like I said earlier, there's no medals, no nothing. It's purely a self-challenge. And I think that's what was so interesting to me.
Right. So what inspired you from sort of just enjoying this kind of competition to actually inspire you to actually make a movie or documentary movie of it?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I was obsessed with skiing. And the ski company that I used to watch their movies every year, I actually started working for them. They put on a filmmaking competition where they were looking for a new filmmaker for their crew, and I ended up winning it. And so I then, for the next 5 years, went around the world filming skiing with this company, and it was some of the best 5 years of my life, filming amazing athletes in incredible places. But I would come back to Hong Kong and just almost be waiting for the next trip. And I just think to myself, there must be something in Hong Kong that I can do. There must be some adventure challenge. There must be something that I can make a film about. And because my brother was a trail runner, I asked him, do you know anything? And he told me about this challenge. And immediately I was just like, what? This sounds awesome. And so we approached Andre and said, we heard about your challenge. I want to make a film about it. But the film idea in my head was just a 10-minute, 15-minute video that I could put on YouTube that would help build out my profile. But that initial idea ended up being a 45-minute film called Breaking 60. So this is actually before 4 Trails.
Right.
And it was called Breaking 60 because at the time of filming in 2017, no one had ever broken 60 hours before, gone underneath.
Right.
And that project, I sort of call it like my university degree now. When I was filming it, I was sort of learning about the event as it was going on. I was learning about the people behind it. And the film just ended up being what it was. But in the time between making that film, Breaking 60, and 4 Trails, it was 4 years in between. Me and Andre had become good friends. Every year I would go and follow the event. I would go out and support. Some friends would do it. And so I started seeing there was more to the event than just who can do it the fastest or being a finisher, which was what the first film was about. It was really about the people that were doing it, their own challenges. Andre handpicks them to come. They sign up and then he chooses from their essays that they have to do which ones he wants to invite. And so I knew the story behind it wasn't just, okay, who can do this the fastest, who's the best, but it was really a self-challenge, a goal that individuals wanted to go on their own journeys. And so when I came back to make Four Trails, it was like, let's make a film about everyone, not just about the fastest, but some people who just want to survive in 72 hours.
Right.
Their stories are just as inspiring as the fastest person out there.
Right.
They're out there for an extra day and night. So I was really interested by more than just who's the best, who's the fastest.
I see, yeah, because you did choose some very interesting characters. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that. You can share some of the stories, right?
Yeah.
So I understand the film took you about, more than 3 years to complete?
Yeah.
It's just really tough, it sounds to me, right? I mean, So what has been the high point and low points of your journey?
Yeah, so the film, it took 3 years to make.
Yeah.
We essentially spent 6 months roughly before the event started doing interviews with all the runners, going on training runs with them, going to podcasts with them.
I see.
And trying to just fill out their stories and get to know them better, get them comfortable with the camera as well for the event day. We also did interviews afterwards and some extra filming after the event for a few months. And the editing then took 2 years to do. Multiple reasons why. Probably the main reason is we had around 200 hours of footage. And so trying to condense that into an hour and 40 minutes was just a monumental challenge. But at the same time, this whole project we took on just me and my brother ourselves, a self-funded project. We did try and see if we can get some sponsorship and backing, but we couldn't find it. So it ended up just being really very much a passion project. And so it took a bit longer because I would work on the film editing for 3 weeks, and then I would get another job that would be paying me money. So I'd go, that could be 2 days, 1 week, 3 weeks, work on that project, and then come back to editing Four Trails and be like, okay, so where was I? Try and rejig my brain back into film mode and then work on that. And it could be 1 day, 2 days, and then go back to another project. And so it's this constant back and forth, trying to balance work, which was keeping me alive, and editing a film, which I was really excited to be doing.
Do you ever expect that you have managed to gain such a success because when you first started, or you just think, what was going in your mind going through all these 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, the success, I can't even say success now. There you go, success. The success of the film, I didn't think it was going to be as big as what it was.
All right.
I always set out to make a film that I would be proud of, I'll be happy with. And it sort of just kept on growing in scale, I would say. So when we finished the filming, when the event happened, and we're like, oh, there were so many good stories in that particular year. And so we're like, there's a lot of, this wasn't just like 1 or 2 stories. We got 7 stories that we can tell from this. And then when you start editing it and you're like, okay, it's coming together really well. And then I would be, for me, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So before, maybe I would, with other work, I would just get a song online from a stock website. But now be like, there is no song online that I can buy that will fit this segment. So then I would hire a composer to work on it.
I see.
And those were things which I've never really done before. But I was always like, if I don't try, if I don't do it 110%, then I'm always going to regret not doing it as good as I can be, or I'll know it's not great. I remember my family and my girlfriend being like, it's already good enough. Like, you don't need to have this extra little thing, or you're cutting milliseconds off the film. I'm like, trust me, it'll be better. And they were kind of thinking that I was crazy for doing it.
Yes.
So I just wanted to put everything I could into this project. Maybe it would be the only film I make. I don't know. So let's just put it all out on the table. So I knew I wanted to make as good a film as possible. And I just thought, if I don't do it as good as possible, I'm not giving myself a chance for it to become successful, for a distributor to pick it up, a streaming platform to take it. If it's slightly below my own standards, then they'll subconsciously see something as not right and not be interested. So,
I see.
Yeah.
But even when you first start, after completion of film, find a distributor or getting the film off the record, I mean, it still has been a bit of a challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that was probably harder than actually making the film.
Yes.
Making the film is what I like to do. So I was enjoying every moment of it. Actually, there were definitely some low points as well, but in general, that was the fun part, the easy part. But yeah, I remember finishing it, and I'm not connected in the film industry that much. So I didn't really know, okay, now I have the finished product, how do I get it out there? And so we actually did some pre-screeners where we even hired out a pub in Hong Kong and sold some tickets for people to come down, and all in the hope that we could build some momentum. Maybe the right person sees it and they're like, hey, I know someone who works as a distributor or a sales agent or whatever it may be, and help us find somebody. I think from a personal standpoint, documentaries, they tend to go on streaming platforms. You watch on streaming platforms. Mm-hmm. So my mind was like, okay, this is the aim. If we can get it on a streaming platform, we'll be connected with those people. But we didn't really have much success. Everyone who came to watch it thought it was fantastic, but we never managed to break through to anyone. We applied to film festivals as well. We didn't get into any of them. So even then, if we're talking about low points, that was definitely a low point where people are giving us amazing feedback, but then it's not going anywhere else other than that. So maybe the professionals in the industry they don't think it's very good. So I then started thinking, oh, my film's not very good. But yeah, eventually we managed to loosely find a contact who knew someone at Edco Films in Hong Kong.
Right.
And they were very excited about it, and they took it on, which was great, a really good partnership there. And they didn't have the highest expectations, but they loved the film. So like, we want to put it out there, but documentary is not so popular in Hong Kong. Keep your expectations low. But then as soon as we released it, it kind of just took off, went on its own life, and has done better than I think anyone thought. So really cool.
For those people who never watched it yet, I strongly recommend you to watch the film. It was fantastic, and
Thank you.
And it's very emotional as well. And there's so many amazing stories from different competitors. And maybe you can share with us one or two stories which you find most inspiring. Or more than one.
Yeah, I know. I've been asked this question quite a lot, and it's so hard to narrow it down to one.
Yes.
And, we filmed, there were 18 people that did it that year.
Right.
And we filmed everyone that wanted to be part of the film. There were some that wouldn't. And we filmed them all because they all did have inspiring stories. But then just the way the event unfolded and what we managed to capture as a documentary, you can't always be in the right place at the right time. Things that you expect to happen don't. Things that you don't expect to happen do, or just complete surprises. Before going into the filming of it, there was one participant, Sarah, who I really enjoyed, and I found her story incredibly inspiring because she had tried the challenge twice and failed both times, but got better each time. Then on her third attempt, she managed to be a survivor. So she did it in under 72 hours. And then she came back again. So now this is her fourth time doing it in the attempts to become a finisher. And I just thought her story was really inspiring because she was quite young. Four Trails was essentially her life for 3 years that she told us. And even if she failed, she just kept going. She wanted to prove to herself that she could do something which was seemingly impossible. And so I really enjoyed her story. Unfortunately, the year that we filmed, I guess this is a bit of a spoiler, so anyone who hasn't seen the film, sorry for the spoiler, right. But she didn't manage to do it under 60 hours, which was her goal for the fourth year.
Right.
But just still coming back and back again and trying.
Right.
I think it's a really positive message for anyone, don't give up, keep going.
Yes, I think that's the key message I find very inspirational of not quitting, right?
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of times when you're in the kind of trail like this, there's so many unpredictability, right? Could be not feeling well, you might be sick, or maybe the weather is no good, or you get lost, whatever, right? So everything can derail you from competing, So from your perspective, do you think people going through this kind of ultimate extreme challenge, does it really change your life, your viewpoint or something like that after the competition or in any way?
Yeah, I think it does. I personally have not gone through, actually, I say I've not gone through it, but I went through it in the film perspective, where I was filming for 3 days and 3 nights with no sleep, but completely different. But yeah, when you do the interviews with them before and then you do the interview with them afterwards, their perspective has completely changed. And I think that's what's so fascinating about it. So Salomon is a perfect example of this, where before the challenge, he wanted to break 50 hours, which had never been done before and would be a record. And a few people that year were trying to do it. And he was unsuccessful in doing it. And he was this character he was an engineer. And it was basically if everything was planned perfectly. And if it was slightly off plan, then it was a failure. And so once his sort of time started slipping away from him, he just wanted to give up because he's like, my target is no longer possible. What's the point, really? And he got halfway and he actually did give up, but his wife then convinced him to going, managed to get friends of his to send voice messages of encouragement. And so he switched his mindset completely. And instead of running to break the record, he started running for his friends, his family. Because something like this, it's not something where you wake up one day and you go, okay, I'm going to run 300 kilometers. It takes a year or more of preparation, of training, of planning. And so if he gives up, he's not just giving up on himself, but he's giving up on his wife who'd been supporting him for a year, allowing him to go running after work and all this sort of things instead of spending time with her. So he then got this new perspective where it's like, okay, I'm now running for other people. And it's not just a self-challenge where I'm the only one trying to do this. He starts realizing that there's his team behind him who's pushing him forward. And so his perspective completely changed from a self-goal to a team goal.
Right. Sometimes I guess you have to be really successful doing something extraordinary. It's not just about you, right? You have to have a higher purpose. And,
yeah, exactly.
You need to do that. And yeah. So now you have made this film and you have attended a lot of awards. And actually, tonight you're supposed, well, am I supposed to disclose that? You're filming Asia Society from a pub to a very prestigious place to have a lot of distinguished guests watching the film. I wish you all the luck because I'm sure you will meet many influential people there watching your film. And hopefully you'll get some support for your future films. Now, at this stage, after you have won this award, what's the next step?
Good question. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
So before making this film, I was doing short films, commercials, music videos on occasion. And this was my first feature film, my first attempt at doing it. And in some ways, I didn't really know what the outcome would be from it at all. But because it has been so successful, it's sort of like changed something in my brain, being like, actually, maybe this is what I'm good at. Maybe this is what I should be focusing on. And so I would really like to make another feature film, but finding a topic that's the hard part. Finding budget as well is even harder. So I think it's given me confidence that I can do it again, or I can do a feature film. I would know who I would need to bring on. Just like I was saying with Salomon, you realize that it's not just about you making this film. You need people around you to help. It's the same thing making a film. You need to have the right people around you to keep you going, help you do things which you can't do. And so, it's just giving me confidence that I can do this, and I just have to find a story now.
All right. You were doing it in a very low budget, right? And you actually have to do everything yourself. Now, hopefully with a bit of additional support, I'm sure you will make it even much, much more impactful film.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming to share with us your thoughts. I'd like to say that you were previously talking to me that you're naturally an introvert, right? And you might not actually like a lot of public limelight or socializing too much, right? But your job requires you to, in a way, to step outside the comfort zone to do that. Can you sort of tell us about how you overcome your initial hurdles?
Yeah. So in general, I am quite introverted, quite quiet. I know that in big groups, if you have a big group of people, I just don't say anything. I just listen to the conversation rather than getting involved. Whereas in one-on-one conversations, I'm much more confident. But yeah, before the film came out, I would have hated maybe doing something like this. When we had the premiere and I had to go in front of 300 people and answer questions and introduce myself. And I was like, I don't want to do that. My heart was racing, but I knew I just had to do it. There was no other option but to do that. If I want to promote the film, people want to speak to me, I have to do it. So the first time was scary. The second time was scary. The third time was slightly less scary. And I just kept on doing it and repeating it. And eventually you just started becoming comfortable in what you're doing. And I guess in some ways it relates to film as well. When you go on set and now you've got 15 people who are all just looking at you, asking you what I'm supposed to do. The first time you do it, your heart is racing and you're super nervous. But I've always found that as soon as I put myself in that situation, it kind of disappears as soon as you start. So even now, I wake up in the morning before a shoot and I'm still nervous about when I arrive and how we're going to start, what am I going to say. But as soon as it begins, I just calm down completely. And some projects I've done where there's maybe been just me and the talent or me and 2 or 3 other people, it's less daunting, but you still have those jitters before. And then you then go onto a set, which I've done, where there's 30 people there and you're even more scared. But then as soon as you start, it just feels just like you're the only one there, or the room is now quiet again. You're just so involved in what you're doing. You're so passionate about it that it kind of just goes away. It kind of slips and you just do it. And so I sort of just become more and more confident over time being able to do these kind of things. But I still get nervous when I do it, but I'm just much better at knowing that, give it 10 seconds, give it 2 minutes after you start, and it's just back to normal. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Sometimes you give me the insights how people can grow. You can only grow if you're willing to step outside your comfort zone and a willingness to fail sometimes. And we've been talking a lot about it, but I think you encapsulate your own real story, which is very motivational. If people want to aspire to be a film producer in Hong Kong or internationally, starting young, what advices would you like to give him or her?
I think really the best advice you can give anyone, I mean, there's so much different advice you could give, but for me, it was always just going out and doing it. You can't sit and wait for someone to hire you to do a job. And especially in the creative industry, in the film industry, if you've got nothing to show, no one's going to hire you to do a job which you've not done before. When I started, I just went out and filmed things myself. I used YouTube to help teach me how to edit, or even teach me how to use certain settings on a camera. And I just went out and did it. And so I think if you want to be in the industry, the best thing you can do is just to put yourself out there. If you want to be a filmmaker, buy a camera, you can get a cheap one. You can even use your phone now and just go and try and make content, produce it, put it out there, have people watch it. And by doing, you learn from it. You may realize that you didn't do it very well, but then you know how to improve next time. For me, every time I put out a video, I think it's the best thing ever. 2 weeks later, I think it's the worst thing ever. So I want to make another one to improve on it. And I just kept going like that.
I see.
So I think just going out and creating is the best thing that you can do. Trying to make connections, join people on sets, even if you're not doing anything, just sitting, watching. Maybe you can help pick up the cameras and gear and move it to the next location. Anything just to gain experience.
Right. Wow, that's very good advice. I actually have also been, in my podcast, always been trying to interview guests, right, who have success in their life in different aspects of profession or achievements. And for particular entrepreneurs, a lot of times say, hey, you don't necessarily need to start already well-equipped or you know everything. You did not study a film discipline in university, right? Or production.
No, I didn't study at all. No.
So it's really a great example of if you're passionate, you have even a hobby, you do the best you can and achieve the best result you can do. And then by continuous improving, maybe you can get a great career out of it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're thinking of jumping straight to the top from the beginning, I think that's quite a crazy idea.
I see, yeah.
You got to build yourself up there for sure. But yeah, passion is definitely, I think, the most important ingredient. If you're passionate about it, then it doesn't become work. You just enjoy doing it and you enjoy learning.
Yeah. Most important, have fun as well, right?
And you have fun, yeah, exactly.
One more thing, you have given us a lot of advices. And if I ask you, if you are to give advice to your younger self, right? What advices will you give yourself?
I would probably advise myself to to try and surround myself with more people that can help. Taking on this film, I took on a lot of roles myself, and in some ways burnt out a little bit by trying to do too much or just having too many roles. Maybe you can be good at everything, but you can't be the best at one thing.
Right.
And so trying to have more people around you that can support and help. If there's something that you can't do, don't always try and do it. If you can get someone else that can help. I think, making movies is not a one-man job. There's so many people involved in doing it. So surrounding yourself with good people who all want the best for what you're doing, I think that's...
I always think it's so important. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people.
Yeah.
And you'll be influenced by them, even on sports, right? I mean, if I want to play a good game of golf, I play with some good quality players.
Exactly.
Eventually, you'll be good.
Yeah, try. You always learn from people who are better than you.
Better than
sure.
you, yeah. They don't always have to be the best in the group, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, be humble.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talk about advice as film producers. How about as an entrepreneur? I mean, you're also an entrepreneur, right? You're starting your own company, you start from scratch. What do you think, what are the key qualities to be a good entrepreneur, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think I've ever considered myself an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So that question is quite hard for me. I mean, maybe it ties back a little bit to the topic earlier of taking it step by step and doing what you can do. So when I was starting out in filmmaking, I didn't have the best equipment, but I had something. So I tried to make the best of what that one thing was. And when I felt like I was ready to graduate to the next step, then I would graduate to the next step. I never I wouldn't have made this film if I already didn't know how to do all the things that would make it. I knew how to edit. I knew how to film. I had directed people before. I had worked in adventure sports for 5 years before attempting to do this. So I made my way slowly there, and every project I was more comfortable. I definitely failed a lot, made mistakes a lot. But if I tried to reach for the stars from the beginning, then I probably would have failed even harder and then just given up straight away. So I think just taking it slow, step by step, slowly feeling more confident, more comfortable, putting yourself in situations which you know you can handle, or pushing yourself just a little bit that you're out of your comfort zone, but not so much so that it's going to be too uncomfortable, that you know that you'll fail, but just a little bit that you keep pushing yourself and learning from it and improving from it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Robin. I think you said you're not an entrepreneur, you don't consider yourself one, but you have demonstrated a lot of entrepreneurial spirit in your feedback. I mean, doing everything, have the spirit to try new things, take risks, and then don't worry about getting your hands dirty and do things with big passion. Thank you for all your insights. And for the audience, I hope that, for you who have not watched the film, watch the film. You won't be disappointed. Where can they watch it?
Well, if you're in Hong Kong, it will be released soon on Now Popcorn, or I don't know how to pronounce the Chinese Baogao.
Okay.
Gonna kill that pronunciation.
Okay, I'll put it on the podcast, right? If you like this episode, please subscribe, tell me your comments, and tell me who you want me to interview next, and I'll try my very best to do it. Okay, thank you, Robin.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.